When macrophages enter an environment, remember I told you that they start out as monocytes in the blood and they're circulating around, and then they go into the liver, they become liver macrophages. They go, they're like the Marines. They need to be there, and they're fighting and showing and communicating and saying, we got this guy, this is what he looks like, right? Okay. So, when it enters the tumor microenvironment, okay, because of the cytokines and because of all that sort of thing, this macrophage becomes what's called a TAM, a tumor-associated macrophage. That's not hard to understand. Don't freak out. A tumor-associated macrophage, a TAM. We also have tumor-associated neutrophils. We have tumor-associated fibroblasts. In other words, once they get into the tumor microenvironment, the milieu, the biochemical milieu changes them, so they now start supporting the cancer growth. So these myeloid-derived suppressor cells, also called TAMs, macrophages that were talked about in this study, are there to make the tumor grow. So when we look at the tumor growing, it's not just the cancer cells. It's kind of like a sperm and an egg meet each other in a fallopian tube, and they become this new little thing called a zygote. Now that zygote migrates. By itself, it's not going to do anything. What does it need? It needs to find the inside of a uterus and get into the lining, so it needs a nest. What else does it need? Blood supply for nutrients and and waste disposal. The little zygote by itself cannot become an embryo unless it has these other things. It's the same thing with cancer. Okay, so the malignant cell by itself is useless. It needs to have a nest and a blood supply. So the tumor-associated fibroblasts are not there to help the whole body in general. They're there to help the tumor get a better nest. Okay, the tumor-associated macrophages. So tumor-associated macrophages make the tumor grow. And yes, they are eating per cell a little more glucose. Why? Because they have to go quicker. So glycolysis or fermentation, although it doesn't give you a lot of ATP, a lot of energy, it does give it quicker. And that's why cancer cells use it too. It's called aerobic glycolysis. And if you can actually eliminate the tumor-associated macrophages, cancer cannot grow and it cannot spread. So it is it's part of the cancer process. So to say that, well, now I can eat glucose because it's not the cancer cell itself, the malignant cell itself that's eating the most, but it's still, remember, it's still 2/3. The cancer, this is their, let me read it again. In the context of the whole tumor multiplying, the per cell glucose uptake by the abundance of each cell type revealed cancer cells accounted for overall approximately 2/3 of glucose uptake. This is, what I'm talking about now is the cancer cells accounted for overall for approximately 2/3 glucose uptake. Okay, so the myeloid cells, right, 1/3. But anyway, you got it. So you're still, the cancer cells are taking a lot up, but still, now so are the TAMs. And the TAMs are how cancer grows. You knock out the TAMs, you have no tumor. It can't grow. It needs the TAMs. So should I go back to eating a lot of sugar? It's okay? No. I just want to show you, there was another important study that went off of this. This pathological activation of myeloid-derived suppressor cells as the result of persistent stimulation of the myeloid tumor, blah, 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 blah. Okay. What does all that mean? The signals being sent in the blood by the tumor attract macrophages, but it's the way they attract them. By the time they arrive, they are doing all the things that are going to support a tumor growth, and they're not what we call M1 macrophages, which eat, gobble, kill. They're not them anymore. They're on our side.